universal, to make a universal statement out of a few particulars. Now, here's the thing with that. It could be true, in fact, that all guys are jerks. That might be true. However, you cannot prove that just by a small sample group. Do you understand? You can't do that in an argument. You can't take a few little things and then say, hey, this is the way it is for all space and time. Alright? So that would be a hasty generalization. An appeal to ignorance, that's arguing that claim is true or false because we have no evidence proving otherwise. This you're going to see in philosophy of religion. You're going to see this kind of thing. You can't prove otherwise, but if you can't prove it so these are arguments from silence, and that's not a fair way to do things. Okay, you know, there are Martians on, obviously, planet Mars, or there could be Martians on planet Earth, or Martians wherever. Well, they're there, you can't prove otherwise, you know. I say they're there, you can't prove otherwise. Well, I can't prove that it's true. I can't give you that evidence either. Alright? Okay, this is one you need to know. Post hoc or ergo propter hoc. This is claiming that one thing is caused by another because it follows the other. Now, we're going to talk about causation. Those darn, well, this instance, those darn Republicans, you know, look at the mess they made, and now well, no, wait a minute. Maybe there were things prior to the Republicans being in power when the Democrats were in, you know. See what I mean? There could have been somewhat of a domino effect even from back then. So, just because some event happened after the fact doesn't necessarily mean that that was the direct cause of it. We've got all these economic issues, and we can blame those woes on wars in other countries and whatever right now. There may be some contributing factors, but the fact is that the whole world, for example, right now is having a recession. We see Europe having real problems. Is that really the fault? Is Europe's problems the fault of our administration? Is it? See what I mean? So, just because something happens, it's not fair necessarily. Now, we can make assumptions, we can believe what we want, and we can present that in arguments, but just to necessarily say, hey, this happened after that, if you can't prove a direct correlation, then it's not fair to use that in an argument. Okay, red herring. This is one you need to know for sure. This is where an irrelevant issue is introduced to distract the attention. This would be for the married folks and those that have had long-term significant others. When you get into an argument that someone, a guy went to a psychiatrist one day and he says, I don't know what to do. He's trying to get some marital counseling. He says, every time my wife and I get into an argument, she gets historical on me. He said, she gets hysterical? No, she gets historical. She starts dragging up stuff that happened last year. I can't do anything about that. So that's what this is. That's a red herring. All right, when you're in a heated debate and somebody throws out something that's irrelevant to the issue just to get you sidetracked. That's a red herring. Okay, a slippery slope is assuming that an action will lead to an unwanted outcome as a result of many small steps that will inevitably follow. This is a problem that we see in the realm of politics and the laws that are being made. Some people are afraid of opening one law, or making one law because of what they think will naturally be a consequence of others. Of making that law, then naturally we're going to go down this road and all this stuff's going to happen. All right. So there's some things that are on the table right now. There's some hot topics. I had students present on gay marriage. I had, of course, now there's a new hot topic with the military and what's going on in the military and their laws with the Don't Ask, Don't Tell law. That if you change this law and make it such, then all these things are going to naturally happen. And that's really an unfair argument. And that's what some of these generals are coming back and saying, hey, that's not fair to say that. Okay, straw man is a distortion of an opponent's actual position, and this is an unfair characterization of an argument. This is taking someone's argument and distorting it and making it into something that it's really not intended to be. All right, mocking it, making it appeal worse than what it really is. Okay, appeal to tradition is to argue that something is moral because it is traditional. Okay, and that goes along with some of the other ones we've already talked about, right? Like bandwagon, popular appeal. They kind of intertwine. The nuance here is that it is moral just because it's traditional. Well, it's the way it's always been, it's the way we've always done things, therefore that must make it right. Is that really true?
No.
Okay, that's good. That's kind of a yes or no answer. Just because we've always done something a certain way, does that necessarily mean that it's the right thing to do? But here's the bigger question is, who determines what's right and what's wrong? Who's the final determiner of what's right and wrong in our society?
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Can I speak to you just for a moment?
Yes, sir.